In this class, I am going to tell you the tricks to solve questions from chemical kinetics. Okay, by watching this video, I am going to tell you the trick based on the concepts, like if the rate of the reaction is given, how to find out the rate of appearance or disappearance of a reactant or a product, and how to find the unit of rate constant, okay, for any order reaction. If they ask you randomly, like what is the unit for the second order reaction, third order reaction, okay, after knowing this trick, you can easily crack those kind of questions. And also, usually the graph based questions are asked from chemical kinetics chapter. Okay, I will be focusing on the tricks to solve the graph based questions, and I have covered the zero on the first order reactions, including its half-life period. Okay, and what is the connection between the half-life period and the order of the reaction? Okay, so if the half-life period is given and they are asking what is the order of the reaction, okay, I am going to tell you the trick also. And the questions like this: if the initial concentration of the reactant is 100 moles per liter, what would be the concentration of the reactant after four half-life periods? Okay, so I'm going to tell you an easy trick to crack those kind of questions. Like you will be solving by using this trick, you can solve these kind of questions in seconds. Okay, so first of all, so let's get started. And also that, and I have and I'm going to give you the questions based on those trick, okay, which I have taken from the previous year NEET and JEE papers. Okay, so first of all, what is chemical kinetics? See, it deals with the reaction. The reactants are converted into the product. Okay, it is all about studying the rate of the reaction, how fast the reactants are converted into the product, and also the factors which affects the rate of the reaction. Okay, so if you conduct a reaction, if you perform a reaction, how will you determine the rate of the reaction? All your reactants must complete and it must convert it into the product, isn't it? So if you take the concentration of the reactant with time, the concentration of the reactant has to come down and the concentration of the product has to increase. Okay, so this is a graph for a normal reaction. Okay, the concentration of the reactant has to come down and the concentration of the product must increase. So the rate of the reaction can be measured in two ways. The rate of the reaction, either you can measure the rate of disappearance of concentration of reactant with respect to time, or the increase in the concentration of the product with respect to time. See, this is rate of the reaction is always a positive quantity. This negative sign represents that the concentration is decreasing. It is a reactant, no, it is decreasing, and the product is increasing, and nothing else to do with this. Okay, so this is the rate of the reaction. Either you can measure in this way or in this way. So what will be the unit of rate of the reaction, students? Since it deals with the concentration, the concentration is what? Moles per liter. Okay, and with respect to time, so the unit of the rate of the reaction is moles per liter per time. The time can be seconds, or the time can be in hours, or the time can be in minutes. Okay, so for a reaction like this, AA plus BB giving CC, where these small alphabeticals are the stoichiometric coefficients. For a reaction like this, the rate of the reaction can be determined, okay, by measuring any one of the quantities. See, either you can measure the disappearance of any one of these reactants, or you can measure the appearance of the any one of these products with respect to time. So how we can do it? See, as usual, this minus sign represents the reactants concentration is decreasing. Okay, so the stoichiometric coefficient you have to bring it down. Okay, so to make it equal, everything equal. Okay, so either one of this, see, all, if you measure any one of this, that will give you the rate of the reaction. Okay, either by measuring, okay, any one of this thing, you can determine the rate of the reaction. Okay, so what I am going to tell you now, see, this is the rate of the reaction. If you know its value. Okay, see, what is the real connection with this one? See, the entire quantity will give you the rate of the reaction, but this quantity alone is known as the rate of disappearance of A. Okay, disappearance of reactant A, and this is what this thing, rate of disappearance of reactant B, and this thing is what rate of appearance of the product C, and this is what rate of appearance of product C. If they are asking, suppose they have given the rate of the reaction and the question is what is the rate of appearance of the product D. So how will you do it? See, you know this thing is going to give you the rate of the reaction, and if you know its value, if you know the value, so then you find out the rate of appearance of D is nothing but D times rate of the reaction. D times rate of the reaction. Okay, students? So this is very much important. Okay, then coming to the unit of rate constant. So I am going to take the similar unit of rate constant. So I am going to take the similar reaction. Okay, so according to law of chemical kinetics, see, the rate of the reaction is proportional to the concentration of the reactants. Okay, the rise to the power P and Q, and you know this P may or may not be equal to the stoichiometric coefficient, and P plus Q, okay, is known as N, which is the order of the reaction, and you know the order of the reaction can be 0 or any integer. It can be fraction also, isn't it? So we are going to derive the unit of the rate constant. What is the unit of rate of the reaction? We saw, no? So this is what moles per liter, that is liter inverse and time inverse. Okay, see, this proportionality constant is known as rate constant, and it is dependent, and you must know it is a constant, rate constant, and depends only on temperature. Okay, and if you change the temperature, the constant will vary, otherwise it will not. Okay, so here what is the unit of A? The concentration of A will be in what? Moles per liter, right? Moles per liter, and this will also be in what? Moles per liter. So K will be, so the unit of rate constant will be, I am going to bring these things down. So liter inverse, this is time inverse. See, the same thing, no? So I am going to write as liter inverse P plus Q. I am going to write it as P plus Q, and you know what is P plus Q? P plus Q is equal to N. So I am going to write it as moles per liter 1 minus N. Okay, so this is the trick to find out the order of the unit of rate constant for any order reaction. For example, if N is equal to 0, put N is equal to 0, what will happen? 1 minus N will become 1. So the unit of rate constant is equal to moles liter inverse to the power 1. Okay, so this is for the unit of for the zero order reaction. Okay, so if N is equal to 1, what will happen? N 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So the whole thing to the power 0 is what? 1. So for the first order reaction, it is just what? Time inverse for a first order reaction. See, for a second order reaction, N is equal to 2. So 1 minus 2 will be equal to minus 1. So K to the power moles liter inverse to the power minus 1. What will happen, students? So K, this is moles inverse liter time inverse, or liter mole inverse time inverse, and this is for what? Second order reaction. For what? So what will be the unit for n is equal to 3 for a third order reaction. So it is liter squared mole per mole squared. And okay students, so please remember this is very important. So okay, so please remember this, moles per liter 1 minus n, where n is equal to order of the reaction, where n is equal to order of the reaction. Okay, if you substitute, okay, you can find out the unit for the rate constant of any order reaction. Okay, so now coming to the zero order reaction. See, what is a zero order reaction, students? Say for example, the reactants are converting to products. The rate determines the rate of the reaction. The rate of the reaction, that is minus dR by dt. Okay, it is proportional to or is equal to rate constant into the concentration of R to the power 0, isn't it? That is a zero order reaction. Okay, what does it mean? The rate of the reaction does not depend on the concentration of the reactant, it is raised to the power 0. So what will happen? See, dt, so anything to the power 0 is 1. Okay, so if you integrate, and I'm not going to derive it, so after integrating and solving this reaction, what are you going to get? You are going to get the concentration R is equal to minus kT plus, okay, this is the thing you are going to get, isn't it? Okay, this is your solved equation. Okay, then coming to, see here, kT is equal to what will happen? See, R minus, okay, so this is T. See here, one thing I want to tell, this is the R naught is the initial concentration, and this is concentration after certain time, then what is our initial concentration, and this is leftover concentration, otherwise we can call it as leftover concentration. What does it mean, students? See, if you start a reaction, if you see R giving P, R giving P, the initial concentration was R naught, and initially the P was 0, and this is when time T is equal to 0, and after T time, okay, after certain time, okay, what happens? The sum of the concentration of R naught has been changed into product, has been converted into product. Let's say from this concentration, the X moles has been reduced to give X moles of the product. Okay, so what does it mean? So R, the initial concentration minus X will give you the leftover concentration, isn't it? Okay, so what the initial concentration minus the leftover concentration, it is equal to X, which is, what is X? It is the concentration of the reactant converted to product. Why I am telling this, students? Because sometimes they will give you like this can be written like this also. What does it mean? X is the amount of the reactant that has been converted to product. Okay, so this can be, or this equation can also be represented like this. Okay, so you must know what is this. Then what is the half-life period? See, T half is nothing but the leftover concentration will become the half of the initial concentration. This is the half-life period. Okay, half-life period means what? The leftover concentration after certain time, the initial concentration would have been divided to the half of the concentration which you have taken initially, that is the half-life period. So substitute it here in this equation. You are going to substitute it. Okay, so K is equal to, this is your initial concentration, your R will become what? Initial concentration divided by 2. Here it is T half. Okay, I am going to bring the T half here. So it will become R naught divided by 2k. Okay, okay students, so why I am writing like this, I am going to draw graph. See, for a zero order reaction, the rate of the reaction is independent of the concentration of the reactant. So if you plot a graph, rate of the reaction, this is what concentration of the reactant. It is independent, does not depend. So how will be the graph? See, it will be constant. The rate is constant with respect to the concentration of the R. Okay students, so this is the graph. Okay, if they ask you, if they will give you graph like this, and they will ask you to predict the order of the reaction. Okay, so this is your first graph and your second graph. See, will be from this equation. See, this equation looks like y is equal to mx plus c, isn't it? Okay, so if I plot, so this is the second graph. If I plot, this is y axis, I am going to take y-axis, I am going to take the concentration of R, and x-axis I am going to take time. Okay, so here intercept is what? Intercept is R naught. Intercept is not 0, it has some value and some positive value. So the graph must start from some other value like this. Okay, not from 0. Okay, if the intercept is 0, the graph will start from 0. And you see, m is equal to, here m is equal to minus k, a negative slope. So the graph must come down. Okay, this is the clue. The graph must come down. If you have a positive slope, it will increase like this. It will increase like this. Okay, so here intercept value. What is intercept value? This is R naught. Okay, intercept value. The slope value will give you the value of minus k. Okay students, you got my point? Okay, if the intercept is 0, it will start from 0. Okay, if the slope is positive, it will increase. Here the slope is a negative value, so it must decrease. Okay, so here one more graph. See, literally you have to think and write. See, they are asking, I am going to plot R naught minus R to t. What will be the graph? See, all this kind of questions, if they ask, you can think and you can answer. See, this is the thing. So what you have to do, rearrange like this. See, R naught minus R, okay, equal to kt. So this is y. Okay, the entire thing becomes y, and this is what mx plus z, where c is equal to 0 here. So x is equal to t and m is equal to k. Here m is equal to k, positive value, and intercept is equal to what? 0. Okay, kt plus, then nothing is there, no, so here 0. So the graph must start from 0, and m is, it is a positive value, so the graph is like this. Okay, so if they ask you how the plot will be looking if I plot R naught minus R, okay, versus t, like this. Okay, you have to interpret and answer, that's all. See, another graph is from the half-life period, and you see the half-life period is directly proportional to the R naught. So how it will be? The fourth graph, if you see, if you plot t half versus the R naught. Okay, see, it will this is your y is equal to mx plus c. Here also 0, so the graph must start here. This is the x, so the m is equal to 1 by 2k. So it is a positive value, it must start from 0 and it has to go like this. This is the slope value. The slope value is 1 by 2k. Okay students, first order kinetics. So to secure time, no, to save time, I have written previously itself. So the reactants are converting into product. So the rate of the disappearance of R is equal to the rate constant into the concentration of the reactant raised to the power 1. That is the first order reaction. Okay, so if you do the differentiation, and if you solve it, you will get a equation like this. Okay, so here after solving and rearranging, this is your final equation. Okay, so here this is the equation. See, where R naught is equal to the initial concentration, and this is concentration after time t. Okay, after time t. So this equation is used, see, when time t is equal to 0, the concentration will be is equal to R naught, isn't it? So if they speak about the time t0 and a certain time, this is the concentration R. Okay, we use this equation. If they speak about the time t1, it is not the initial time, okay, it is other than 0, and they speak about two different times and their concentrations are R1 and R2. We use the equation like this: 2.303 divided by T2 minus T1, okay, log, okay, R1 divided by R2, whereas the concentration, this is the concentration at time t1 and concentration at time t2. Okay, students, so when you speak about the initial concentration and one more concentration, we use this time. Okay, and whenever we don't speak about the initial concentration between two time intervals, okay, other than t0, between this is 10 minutes and 20 minutes, okay, we use this equation to solve to find out the rate of the reaction. And this is the order of, this is a half-life period, and very well you know the T half is equal to 0.693 and K, and you see it is independent of the initial concentration. Okay, it doesn't involve the concentration term, and often questions will be asked like, you know, this two will go together, the half-life period will be given, and you have to find out the rate constant, and you may have to use the value in some other data like that, it will be clubbed together. So you will be familiar of these things. And now let's see the graph. See here, the rate of the reaction is dependent on the reactant, isn't it? So if you plot the rate of the reaction versus the concentration of the reactant, how it will be? It is dependent, it is not independent. Okay, the graph will be like this. Okay, the graph will be like this. So this is your first graph, and your second graph, you see, this equation is in the form y is equal to mx plus c, where intercept is equal to ln R0. This is natural logarithm of the concentration R, and the m is equal to minus k here. So how will be the graph? See, and hope you got I already explained you. So this is your natural logarithm of concentration R, and this is x is equal to t here, and the intercept is 0 here, not 0, the intercept is ln R0, so it is a positive value, so it must start somewhere here, it is an initial concentration. Okay, and the slope value is minus k, so it has to come down. Okay, the slope value m is equal to minus k. So this is the graph. And one more thing, if they ask you, see, I am going to ask you a question. See, what will be the graph look like if I plot, okay, R naught minus ln R? How will it will be? So you have to derive from this equation. So this is your y, and this is your mx plus c is equal to 0 here. It's okay. So this is your time. Okay, so intercept is 0. What is intercept? Where it strike the axis. Okay, so here it must start with 0, and it is a positive slope. What is the slope value? Slope value is equal to k. Okay, so it will go like this, and the slope value will be equal to k. And this is for your question, and this answer I will discuss in the next video. I am going to ask you, okay, so what will be the graph look like if I plot? Okay, okay, so you have to tell the answer, and this is your question. Think about it. Rearrange whatever I have given, rearrange in the form of, you have to get into the form y is equal to mx plus c and draw the graph. Okay, and you have to tell the slope value also. Okay, so the next class I will solve the question. And one more, this is half-life period. See, t half versus k, how it will be? T half versus the concentration. It is independent of the concentration. You see, the graph will be like this. They will ask you, or if they will give the graph, predict the order of the reaction. So you must tell it is a first order reaction. Okay, so anyway, I am going to tell you a trick based on this. No, okay, you need not remember all these things, and I am going to tell you a trick. Relation between the half-life period and the initial concentration. Initial concentration I am going to represent here as A naught. Okay, A naught is the initial concentration. See, take this students, that T half is directly proportional to A to the power of 1 minus n, where n is equal to order of the reaction, where A naught is equal to the initial concentration. So let's see for n is equal to 0, okay, for the zero order reaction, how it will be. The T half is proportion is not equal to, it is proportional to, please remember this, A naught to the power 1 minus 0. So the T half is directly proportional to A naught. We already saw this, no? We already saw this. For a zero order reaction, the half-life period is directly proportional to the initial concentration. Okay, this is directly proportional when n is equal to 1. When if it is a first order reaction, T half A naught 1 minus 1, what it will it will become 0. So it is not proportional. Just now we saw, no, the half-life period of the first order reaction. Okay, it is independent. Okay, for n is equal to 2, the T half A naught 1 minus 2, which will become A naught to the power minus 1. So 1 minus A naught. That means what? It is for n is equal to 2, for the second order reaction, it is inversely proportional to A naught. Okay, so for n is equal to 3, without we can tell is inversely proportional to the square of the initial concentration. Okay, so I have asked a question, no, at the end based on this trick. Easily you can crack the question. Okay, so this is a very, very useful trick. Okay, and also this trick can be used to solve the rate of the order of the reaction from the half-life period. Okay, so 1 minus n. So please remember this. And one more, the final trick. What is that? Is, see, A is equal to A naught 2 to the power n, where, okay, so where A naught is the initial concentration and n is equal to order of the reaction, and A is equal to concentration after half-life periods. See what it is for. See, if you see questions like this, if the initial concentration of the reactant is 100 moles per liter, what will be the concentration of the reactant after 4 half-life period? Okay, if the reaction follows first order kinetics. Okay, see, how will you solve this? What is T half? T half is after 1 half-life period, the leftover concentration will be half of the initial concentration. Okay, so if this is the first half-life period, after second half-life period, what will you do? Again you take this and you will divide by 2. Okay, you will keep on doing this process, no, after 3 half-life period, after 4 half-life period. Okay, so hereafter you need not do this. Okay, see, what is A naught is initial concentration. A is the concentration after the specified half-life periods, and n is the order of the reaction. See what they have given. They have given the initial concentration A naught as 100 moles per liter, and half-life period is 4. So okay, they are asking what will be the concentration after. See, you have to find out A. So put 100 here and 2 to the power 4. 2 to the power is 4 means what? 2 to the power 4 is 16. So what will be the what? So directly if you apply in this formula, you will get the answer within no time. So the concentration is 6.25 moles per liter. Okay, you need not do this. No, for your exam you need not waste time like this. See, if the question is framed like in another way, how it helps, I will tell you. See, if A naught is given, A naught is 100, same 100 moles per liter. They are asking after how many half-life periods the concentration will become like this. Okay, you have to find out how many half-life periods. See here, the A is 6.25. See, applying this formula, a is equal to a naught, so 100 divided by 2 to the power of n we don't know. Okay, so here 2 to the power of n is equal to 100 divided by 6.25. So what happens? So 100 divided by 6.25. So your answer is 16. So you know this 2 to the power 0 is equal to 1. 2 to the power is equal to 1. 2 to the power, you may be knowing this. 2 to the power 4 is 16. So 2 to the power 4 is 16. So n is equal to 4. Okay, so you can use this formula for solving, okay, questions like this. And students, hope you learned something. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe my channel for more videos. Okay, and please try these questions. Okay, so these questions which is based on the tricks I have told you. Okay, so this is your first question, and this is your second question. Okay, second question, your third question, your fourth question, and your fifth question. Okay, see you in next video.